back again in theaters for its 25th year anniversary. I went to a nearby AMC theater to see the movie Chicken Run, and I was able to go back to the year 2000 for an hour and a half. Being a quarter of a century older and more understanding this time around, this rewatch of Chicken Run ended up being far more than just a nostalgic experience. As claymation was still relatively new at the time of this movie's release, it might not look like the most well-aged animation of any movie that came out in the late 90s or early 2000s, but I still very much admire the way that this film looked. And fine, call it outdated all you want. The handmade clay figure crafted style of animation was just able to capture this imagery that I personally believe CGI only has the ability to mimic. Chickens are one of the top 3 most eaten animals on this planet. As far as all of the living species and which one's lives are the least valuable, you would have to think that chickens would have to be pretty damn high up there. Yes, this movie did very much humanize the chicken characters. Chicken Run was able to pull this off without ever spreading some sort of vegan message, nor did it ever encourage its audience to remove chicken from their diet. Many often praise the movie Toy Story 3 for its risky move to touch on such dark subjects in a kid's movie and actually be able to pull it off. Many forget that Chicken Run was also a movie that focused on a very dark subject, at a farm where chickens are anticipating to be slaughtered. Well, yes, I do acknowledge that Toy Story 3 is a better movie than Chicken Run. Many often forget that Chicken Run was able to do that same thing an entire decade before the release of Toy Story 3. Rewatching this movie for the first time in many years as a 32-year-old man, what I was able to appreciate the most this time around that I wasn't able to as a 7-year-old kid was just my appreciation for the character of Ginger. Being a lot older and wiser during this rewatch, Ginger's leadership along with the risks that she took, understanding that the consequences of this plan could potentially result in her life, Ginger's awareness of Miss Tweety's suspicion that she wanted to transition from selling chicken eggs to chicken pot pies, and as disturbing of news as that might have been for the other chickens, Ginger had the braveness to alert everybody so that way they could all plan an escape ahead of time. I also admire this film's deception of Rocky, who was another chicken suffering from human captivity, only in a different way, as rather than the worry of having to be used as meat like the chickens at the farm, Rocky was a circus animal who also felt a need to escape. Now, as Chicken Run might be a movie that's adequate enough to still be a well-remembered movie a quarter of a century later, its flaws are unfortunately what hold it out of the conversation from being one of the greatest animated movies of all time. For the movie to actually be the minimum length in order for it to get a theatrical release worldwide, there was a part of the movie a little after Rocky showed up, as the movie already made it very loud and clear that the chickens were going to try to come up with a plot to escape. The movie decided to stretch that out for a pretty good 15 minutes, well after the point was already made.
You're repeating yourself. You're repeating yourself. You're repeating yourself. You're repeating yourself. You're repeating yourself.
That unfortunately resulted in a missed opportunity to expand Miss Tweety's character and her backstory, which could have added depth to her character, which also could have convinced its audience to want to root against her even more than we already do in that third act. As Chicken Run did do a fine job at having back-to-back scenes with excitement and suspense, it also played off as very predictable, and even if I had never seen this movie during my youth, I still would have known what ended up happening from a mile away on many different occasions of this film. My number one biggest issue with Chicken Run actually involves a plot reveal involving the older chicken who just all of a sudden steps in and says, "Oh, hey, here, I can help." Well, at least not in my opinion does it meet the standards of an all-time classic animated film, as Chicken Run's claymation animation is more what people remember the movie for opposed to its storytelling. The movie Chicken Run most certainly has many underrated values. Definitely a movie that well deserves its fan base and to be as well remembered as it is 2.5 decades later, and is still fresh, as this movie is also a Caniac combo from Raising Cane's or Chick-fil-A on a Sunday.
I thought my jokes were bad.
And I'm gonna give Chicken Run a B plus. Cheers for watching. For more movie reviews and episodes of this segment, hit that subscribe button for more content from none other than yours truly, your boy QTC.
Just as Caesar arouses your senses. When my fire embraces chicken marinated in citrus and spices, chicken becomes your passion. I am El Caliente.